Keenan, and this is Kim the recorder. So the recorder, she's gonna be recording everything. So feel free to speak your opinions. And we're just gonna start with the guidelines, and you guys can see on the board, one person's gonna be talking at a time. You want to listen to other people. You know, don't be interrupting them. And then talk in any order. So I mean, there's a lot of people here, so you know, feel free to talk out. And then we may actually call on you for input. You know, if one person's like being quiet, even though you might not have an opinion on it, like you can maybe just try thinking of something. And then answer with honesty. We don't want we want our results to be accurate
as much as
sure,
possible,
as much as we can. Yeah. So we're just gonna go around the room. We'll start from you, and just say your name, major, and you're in school.
Christopher, I'm a biology major, and I'm a junior.
Sean, kinesiology major, junior.
Kelsey, special ed and elementary ed, and I'm a senior.
Mitch, I'm an operations management major and a junior.
Tony, I'm a software engineering major, sophomore.
Blake, finance and accounting major, junior.
I'm Max, I'm a biochemistry major, and I'm a junior.
I'm Alexandra, I'm a senior, and I'm a Spanish for business major.
I'm Allie, I'm also a senior, and I am an English and Spanish secondary education major.
I'm Catherine, a sophomore and a PR major.
I'm Mike, I'm a criminal justice major, and I'm a junior.
I think we only had about one double up that whole time. Nice. One double on the major.
Yeah. So you can see it's a pretty diverse group with majors and ages and stuff. So you know, I just want to thank you guys for coming one more time, and we're just going to start off with our first question, and just feel free if you want something to say, you can say it. So our first question is: have you ever studied, traveled, or volunteered abroad? And if so, where and through what organization? And if it's just traveling abroad with your family or your friends or something like that, you can feel free to say that as well.
So how many of you here have traveled abroad before?
Did you count it, is it? You gotta count and tell me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them. 6.
6. All right, so we can start with you. You've traveled or you studied abroad, and how was the experience?
I lived there.
Oh, okay, you lived there. All right. Well,
yeah.
And where did you live?
Denmark.
Denmark, all right.
Yep. And I like it there.
You like it there? And
yep.
what was your reason for coming to America?
Couldn't get into med school in Denmark. Can't hear it.
All right. And you said you
I studied abroad in South Africa a couple summers ago, and then I've also been to like Mexico with my family in Europe.
Okay.
What program did you go through for the?
Through the CIE.
Through the CIE. Okay, cool.
It's also a great place to work.
Nice.
I don't know. You said you were in South Africa. Was that? Would you say that was your first? Is that where you wanted to go? Like, was that your ultimate choice?
No. I applied to do special ed in Scotland and got declined, and I was like, I'm not staying home this summer, so I applied to the other summer programs they had. But I still loved it, and I was like, oh, I get to go to South Africa. But no, it was not why I intentionally applied for it.
Do you happen to know why you got declined for it?
They only let 15 people go, and there were like 30 of us that applied, and I was only a sophomore, so I kind of got beat out.
Okay.
And you?
I'm currently studying abroad.
Okay.
I'm a Kenyan citizen. So after high school, I got into school here and just came here to study for software engineering.
And anything you want to share about your whole experience here?
Well, first I was pretty skeptical about the whole experience because of what's like in the media and what we see in movies and things. So
it's pretty accurate.
and, when I got here, I ended up meeting some pretty awesome people, and it's been a good experience. I like it.
All right, and how long are you staying here?
Oh, initially I was to stay here 6 years, but I changed my major, and I have like 2 more years to go.
Okay.
Who else has been abroad before? And you was a studied abroad, traveled abroad?
Both. I've traveled abroad traveled in Europe, and then I studied abroad this past summer in Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, that's where you wanted to go to, that's your first.
Yeah.
And what program did you go through?
Just at the CIE.
Okay.
I studied in Spain through the CIE, And that was also my first choice. I have to study abroad for my major, and I was there for a semester. And then I also spent a week traveling through Europe with the marching band my freshman year.
Okay. All right, so the next question we have is a lot of people, like I have a lot of friends that also studied abroad, and like, can you just tell about like their experience, you know, some of the like good things that happened, maybe an interesting story, or like what like really attracted them to study abroad, and if they've actually taught abroad or volunteered, you can share that experience as well. Does anyone know someone close to them?
Sure. Plenty of friends, usually from Eau Claire, since there's such like a high study abroad rate, that do it. And almost every single one of them, I've had cousins who've gone here, have just loved it and said it's like the time of their life. I'd say that one of the main things, one of my cousins actually met somebody down there, like a significant other, and she was going back and forth. She was in Chile and just loved it. She was really close to moving there, and not only because of him. They even like broke up, and she still wanted to move there because she's in like social programs. I don't know, working with like kids. But she always wanted to move there and study there for a couple of years to get that experience after college, after she graduated. And then also I do have a cousin who went to study because she's in education, and after she graduated from I think like Green Bay, she went down to Guatemala and taught English to kids, and she also loved it.
And what program did she do that through?
I would not know. I do not know.
Okay. And you said that.
Yeah, my roommate, he's originally from Norway. He was born there and grew up there for the first part of his life, so he speaks Norwegian and English. He studied abroad in Italy because he travels all around all the time, so he figured he would study abroad. And he has a million pictures from it. He lived with all girls, which we were like, how did that go? And he said it went well. And he enjoyed it a lot, and I don't know, you can tell sometimes he wishes he was still in Italy. That's all.
All right. Well, that sounds like some pretty good experiences.
Christopher, I know you've lived abroad before.
Yeah.
So how to just take a little bit, describe your experience on just what it was like coming here, or just?
It's different in the rules that people have and what borders you can cross. Here, compared to Europe, guys are really homophobic here. That's one thing. Really homophobic. Everything that can be sensed as being gay, it's gay over here. It could be you hugging another guy, it seems gay. Even if you talk to girls, if you stand close to them, half of them, when you're out, they think you want to get in their pants, and you actually have no interest in it. They don't look at it the same way. And then schooling is they babysit you here somewhat. They give you a ton of busy work to do. They'll tell you to do 100 calculations, and you know the calculation after doing it 5 times. The last 95, it's just to make you do some kind of work.
So, sorry, keep going.
There, we'll do it 5 times, learn it, we'll move on.
So, what you're saying, basically a lot of the education and the laws and regulations are way different over here.
A lot different, yeah.
So kind of a question for the people that haven't studied abroad or who didn't raise their hand earlier. If you could go abroad, where would you be interested in going and why?
Somewhere warm.
It's colder. Pretty reasonable for Wisconsin.
Yeah. Is there any particular countries or cities that anyone would like to travel to that they haven't traveled to?
I really, really want to go to Iceland.
Iceland?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just really pretty.
Anyone else, any cities, countries?
I'd like to go to Ireland because I'm Irish, so I'd like to kind of experience that. I haven't really been anywhere, so I think that'd be neat.
Go ahead. I would probably go to Europe just because I feel like so quickly you can see so many different countries and culture all in such a short distance, and lots of them speak English, so it's easier to communicate with other cultures.
I was just going to say that. I would go somewhere and really speak English because I was never good at Spanish in high school, and I can't learn another language. I don't think it would work. I'd have to go somewhere where they speak English.
Yeah, all right, so just off that, actually, it's how valuable do you think it is for other countries to know English? And why is that? I mean, we know that's, you know, English is
The universal business language.
universal business language, but, you know, what other factors do you think, like how valuable do you think it is?
Really valuable. In my finance classes, I've had the same professor twice. He grew up in India. He's from India, and he lives here now. And he talks about all the time how pretty much, basically everything runs through the dollar. Like, and obviously they have their own currency, but the dollar is pretty much what runs everything. 2008, when all the markets went down, everyone suffered. You don't know English, which is the language of the dollar, you're not going to do much good. You have to be able to speak it.
Is that pretty much well?
Depends.
I was gonna say, I think it depends on the situation. I personally really hate it when people have the view of like, well, if you're in America, you should speak English. Like, a lot of people come here to learn it, or they're just visiting, and like, I go to countries and I can't speak diddly squat, so I'm not gonna go there and try and become proficient in a language when I'm visiting, or I can learn it there. So like, I can understand from a business standpoint, like, English is a more important thing because you're, like, it's the, I don't know, I feel like it's just more common, but I don't think it's necessary for everyone, everywhere in the world to speak English.
Depends a lot on the country too, because I know certain European countries, there are enough people there. A lot of them never really learn to speak English at all. Northern European countries where there aren't that many people, where everything we do goes through the U.S. All of us learn English when we're young, but as soon as you go down to Italy, France, a lot of them don't speak English. They'll translate all TV shows. They do it in Germany too. They try to take English away and keep their language as is, instead of getting the cross influence that you get.
So, Christopher and Tony, right, were you guys, when you were in school back in your home countries, did you, was English taught to you guys as like a natural class? Was that something that was
well,
learned?
Growing up, first of all, my dad, my mom, and a lot of my relatives speak English, so growing up, I learned 3 languages by the time I was starting school. And then, because of that, I went to an English-speaking school mostly, but right now most of the schools in Kenya teach English, and it's compulsory to take English because that's what they use for all, like in teaching all the classes apart from one class, which is Swahili, which is the native language. Well, not native, but it's the national language in Kenya at least. So sometimes I feel like they take away the need to speak that native language because they changed the whole system of education to be English-centered, and this language that could identify the people of East Africa at least is become such a little influence. It's so you only speak it for about an hour a day, whereas every other class you take in English. Yeah, and then after that, in middle school, I started learning French, and I think being bilingual is a very advantageous, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, it's a big advantage, especially in the business world, because you can pretty much get to work anywhere you want. So
does everybody agree that at least knowing English, even if you are from a different country, is important to know the English language, whether or not you use it from a business standpoint or just your everyday? Would you just say knowing English, to know English would be very important?
How many people?
Yeah, how many is that unanimous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you count it all of them?
All of them.
Yeah, don't
To know English.
Minus the educators.
Yeah.
Oh, you do not?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's not important.
So since everyone thinks that it is important to like teach abroad and whatnot, do you have any teaching or tutoring experience? If so, how was it?
Where are we talking?
Either here or abroad.
Oh.
If you have.
Okay, well, I tutor here in the Writing Center. I've been doing this for like 3 years now, since my freshman year, and it's interesting, to say the least, because I never really know what's going to happen. I've done like one-on-one stuff. I've helped people write papers like well above what I've actually had to write. I've helped like freshmen with like the English 110 classes, and I also helped tutor a little girl in Spain in English, and it was basically just me working with her like grammar books, which was really painful for me as someone who doesn't like prescriptive grammar, which sounds weird because I'm an English major and I should love it, but I kind of hate it. So yeah, it's very different with each person, and I think that there's a lot of things that are messed up with the education system here, and I don't like adhering to it, so it's hard.
Anyone else? You said you had tutoring?
Yeah, as a freshman year, I was in a kindergarten classroom for part of a semester, like observing. Sophomore year, for one semester, I did the reading partner program, so I went to this boy's house, and he's originally from Lithuania, and his parents like don't know a lot of English, so I was there to try and help him with like basic reading skills. And then the second semester, I was again, that time I was in a special ed classroom for the semester, observing and doing some teaching. And then, what else am I missing? Well, last semester I was in block, which is where I write lesson plans with partner, and I like teach for a whole quarter. So I did that, and then I'll student teach this summer and fall. So.
Has anyone had tutoring experience? Has anyone else had tutoring experience?
Well, not so much tutoring, but when I was in Costa Rica, I taught English in a school, and it was pretty interesting because the teacher, I would like go in because it was an actual school, and it was the same teacher, but one day it would be like first graders, and the other day it would be fourth graders. And the teacher would just be like, okay, here's what they're learning, here's their vocab, and then she'd just like peace out for like an hour and a half. And so it was a good experience because it really helped my Spanish, and it also made me realize how difficult English is for other people to learn, because then when you have to explain to someone who's like not fluent in your language all these rules, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is like gotta be a definite rule, and then they're like, oh, what about this? And you're like, I'm really sorry, like English doesn't really have that many rules, I guess, so there's a challenge.
Is that just when you studied abroad, or is that what program? You're just studying abroad and then you were able to teach as well?
Yeah, they had different volunteer opportunities in Costa Rica.
So it was non-paid?
Yeah, it was non-paid.
I tutor people who are taking accounting 201 or 202. I just sit in the lab and they call me if they need help.
So what factors might encourage your decision for people to volunteer abroad or teach abroad? You guys said you've had some experience here with it. How do you think, what are some factors that would encourage people to go overseas and teach like English or volunteer abroad?
I'd say it's mainly about the experience, and then also one of the huge things is no matter what business you're going into, even education or any major, that's such a plus on your resume. I mean, everybody knows that that's a great experience, and that can build character and knowledge of just customs around the world. It can make you like definitely a better people person to anybody out there. So businesses look for that, and it can be a huge plus.
Would you say that's true just for studying abroad, even if
yeah, just studying abroad, teaching abroad, anything. Just gaining more culture.
So the experience.
And your knowledge can help. Definitely helps a person.
Anyone else have anything to add to that? Encourage someone to want to go abroad?
I think it also helps you gain connections, because I still talk to my host family all the time in Costa Rica, and I still am in contact with the teacher that I taught with when she left all the time. But so like I know if I needed like any sort of like reference, I could use her, or like if I ever needed anything, I could always like ask them.
All right, so not all of you have obviously done some of this teaching and tutoring and stuff, but what factors would actually draw students away from teaching or volunteering abroad? And what are some of the main factors why you wouldn't want to, why you're not interested in it?
Financial aspect.
Yeah, financial aspect.
I know for some.
Yeah, the financial aspect. I mean, not a lot of people can't afford to, spend it to go study abroad, so teach abroad.
I know for some people it's just working with kids. Like, I don't know, it depends on who you tutor. Like my boyfriend his first semester was an education major and didn't go to his practicums because he was like, I hate this, like I can't deal with this stuff. And I think that a lot of people might have that perspective that it's just, they're like, oh, this is way too challenging.
What if you actually taught in like a corporation, like a foreign corporation, and you'd be actually teaching adults or all the way up to 20-year-olds to 40-year-olds? Would that be a little bit different for you? If you
I would do any of it, but that's just me.
All right.
Anyone else?
I could see myself like later in my career when I'm experienced and can actually teach people about what I do. Like I can't do that yet, but I could see if my company offered me a position, maybe 2 months, you want to go over here and teach a class on the business culture or what our business is doing in America. I would definitely take those experiences. I think it'd be great, and it'd be a great time.
And it would take the financial aspect out of it as well. Then.
Yeah.
How much is there anyone here that would not want to go abroad to teach anything? Who wouldn't want to go abroad?
I just don't want to go abroad. I like staying here. I don't want to. I like the schedule. I'm happy in America, so that's where I'll be.
Yeah, I'm not a big interest in traveling. I've been on a plane once, and it doesn't really bother me.
Do you think that if you were given the opportunity to go abroad and to teach or volunteer, and if it was paid, would that make your decision?
Is this in the scenario that I'm working for a corporation?
No, just that you would go over and you would either, like you're not working for a corporation, just being a student here at the university and being able to go over abroad if you had the opportunity and you'd be getting paid to go over.
If it paid well and I thought in some way to advance my career, then I would.
Paid well enough. Does everyone agree? If it was paid? Paid or not, does anyone still go if it wasn't paid? Yeah.
All right.
How about Mike? What's the reason why?
I have no interest in teaching, I guess.
Okay.
And would everyone say money would definitely be the biggest factor why you wouldn't be going abroad? Despite the experience and everything. Kim, do you need anything more that you're looking for on the computer? Are we caught up? Have you been catching up with everything that's been going on so far?
Pretty much. But I feel some people didn't really answer the question. If we can go around and ask each person, so each person will answer.
The same question we just did?
Yeah. That'd be great, because some people, I know, like, I think Kat didn't answer one question that, I think 6 people raised up and say, oh, they travel or they went abroad, but only 5 of them answer, so we're missing someone. Just saying.
Well, I can go back and answer that. It was the first question. Yeah, I've been abroad. I went to Australia my junior year of high school, and I went with a people-to-people group. They approached me about it. I didn't really know about it. I just got like a postcard kind of deal in the mail, and I was like, okay, I'll see how it is. And so my parents let me go, surprisingly. And then I also went to South Korea this past summer just with my sisters. So, yeah, that's just my experience traveling abroad.
Cool. What program did you go through again?
For Australia, I went with people to people.
Okay,
yeah.
people to people.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so the next question is just, for some of you guys who have interest in it, which country would you really enjoy going to for teaching English? Like, what country do you feel would be, benefit out of this actually?
I don't actually want to teach Spanish. I'm just using it as an excuse to learn it. I would really like to teach in an urban bilingual school. So for me, I'm thinking about doing Peace Corps after I graduate, and I would really like to be somewhere in South America. Although I love Spain so much, I know that the Spanish I need is going to be geared more towards Latin Americans and South American Spain, or Spanish. So.
Do you think there's any countries, that should know or should be taught English or to know English more than the other countries? Is it more important for one country to know English over another country? No. Does everyone understand that question? I'm trying to get at. Everyone thinks, have your opinions on that?
I think it's up to the people that live there if they actually want to know English or not.
Right, our next question is, where do you go to find information? Some of you guys showed some interest, though obviously a financial factor might be there. Where would you guys go to find volunteer opportunities to go study abroad, or just study abroad in general?
Is there any information on campus for you? Well, what information
Our
is on
website.
campus?
Search for it.
Just study abroad.
Search study abroad.
It's on the homepage.
I'll Google that for you.
All right.
So no one knows about.
Ooh.
Can we go around?
Honey.
Well, it's on the site somewhere.
I figure I'd go to the study abroad office. I don't have any interest.
Okay.
I'm broke, so.
Any
But
other
I
information?
figure it'd be pretty easy. You see it all around campus. Like there's flyers everywhere. You hear about it. People come into your classes and talk about it.
So you mentioned that you've seen like flyers around campus. Is there a certain group that kind of stands out here on our campus that for like the study abroad? What do you say?
ISEC maybe?
International, yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, if you go on like the 3rd floor of Hibbard, and that's where all the foreign language people are, there are so many posters and I know that they put them up in the classrooms. So that's really hard for me sometimes because they sit there and they're like, do you want to study in Spain? I'm like, yes, I do. Stop tempting me, okay? I have to be here in America right now for my classes. So.
All right, so there's some awareness on campus that you guys all recognize. And I mean, we've kind of got a consensus since we've gone around here, but you know, what majors do you think would be the most interested in studying abroad? I mean, we have education majors, obviously you guys have clear interest in it. Any other majors do you think would be beneficial to study abroad or teach abroad?
Business majors, probably.
Business majors?
Be good for business majors to study abroad. I know the University of Minnesota Business School requires their students to study abroad as well.
People who are studying foreign languages. Like the Spanish department, if you're a major or a minor, you have to. And I think for French, if you're a French education, then you have to.
Foreign language major, business majors, education majors, any other?
I just think everybody should. That's me.
Everybody should what? Just
I think I don't know, like, I just think study abroad's really beneficial because it expands your horizons a lot and makes you look at things a lot differently, and it's a whole different experience than you can even, like, prepare yourself for, and I just think that it helps you to be a more well-rounded person, and just, I don't know.
So for
I just think it's a good
a
thing.
biochem major like Max, like would you find any benefit of
Not that I
studying
can
abroad?
think of, not that.
My roommate's
Yeah,
actually
so-
biochem, and she studied abroad in Scotland, and so she didn't have to learn a new language or anything, and she had the time of her life, and she's still such good friends with the people there, and she wouldn't have traded it for the world. She always knew that she had to, like, go out and see the world and, like, share in a different experience and something that she's not used to.
Apart from the actual cultural aspect of that, did she like the education
That's what I was
itself?
gonna say,
for
yeah.
the bio
She
major?
learn
Did
anything?
did that?
She did take, like, she also is a history minor, so yeah, I know, that's a weird combination. So she really likes history, and so she had some of her history classes, but she was taking science classes when she was over there, so she was actually, like, in lab and getting credits towards her biochem major when she was in Scotland.
Oh wow, how deep into the program was she that she did that?
She did it her junior year, so, like, year 3 out of 5.
Okay. So then, some of you guys mentioned that you've heard of ASEC before. How many people in this room have like ISEC?
Raise your hands, who's all heard of ISEC before?
They're harassed.
Can I get an answer?
So how many? If you
Yeah.
can keep your hands up,
Oh.
you've heard of ISEC. You've heard of ISEC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Oh.
that's 3 people.
What is it?
How many?
What's
It's called
Everyone
ISEC.
says 3.
Have you ever
If
heard
you ever talk to Ryan Nichols,
IS.
you'll hear about it.
IESEC.
Yes.
It's an acronym for
Associate of International Exchange Students in Economic and Commerce. It's actually like a French or like a Latin phrase, but they translate it into English. So yeah.
For those of you that have heard of ISEC, do you know what they do exactly? Can you share a little bit of what you know that ISEC does?
From what I think I have a general understanding. It's I don't know if it's an exact exchange, but you pick, like, they find a place for you to go, but they have to find someone to basically come and take your spot. So you're like you're not swapping lives, but you're swapping basically countries with someone. And so you go and live and I think work somewhere, and they come and do that here, and then you switch back.
Does anyone else want to add anything? Tony? Maybe you right now, maybe not.
All I know is my roommate's been trying to get me to join for like the past couple of months, but
Yep.
Getting you to try to join ISAC?
yeah.
Getting you to try to join ISAC?
Yeah.
But you don't know what it is.
He's tried explaining it to me a couple of times, but I never make anything out of it.
I'm mostly drunk when you know.
So,
Alright, so since you guys don't know that much about it, like what do you think it like could actually increase the awareness on campus about it and actually what it actually does? What are some things that you feel that would increase your awareness, so you might actually do it because you have a better understanding of it?
One thing is if they actually explain when they talk about it, because I know a lot of people in ISAC, and I spend a lot of time hanging out with them, and normally it just happens as like, oh, you studied abroad, oh, you want to teach, you should join ISAC, you can go abroad, and like they never really explain what it is or how it works. They just tell me, join it, you'll like it, join it, and I'm like, you don't actually tell me what you do or how it works, and I know there's internships involved, and I know there's pairing things up, and I like the people in it, but just because I like people in a group doesn't mean that I'm going to put a bunch of extra time into an organization, because I don't have a lot of it. So that probably would help if they informed a little bit better instead of just saying, join it. I'm like, okay, no.
I feel like the acronyms just shoved down our throats everywhere, and I'm like, I don't even know, like, I've heard of it, and I know, like you, I know tons of people in it, but I honestly couldn't tell you what they even do at meetings, or what they go to. I know they go to conferences. I don't know what they do at these conferences. Like, I don't really, an explanation along with join ISAC because would be a great intro.
Okay.
So yeah, we're getting some personal awareness from people and from your peers and stuff. But a better explanation is basically what you're saying. To be more informed about it, you'd be more likely to join or to
I like the catchphrase like "see the world" or whatever, because I'd like to see the world, but I don't know how I would be seeing the world through it.
Okay.
Can we go back a little bit? I want to know from where do you guys hear about ISAC?
Ryan.
Like from your friends. Can you raise your hands?
Ryan is the president of ISAC.
Yeah.
So.
He's actually one of our group members who is not here.
He makes it well known.
So you choose
and what else? And is there any other sources that you
I also
know?
I see stuff on Facebook.
I've met
Facebook too.
Facebook. How
But
many
it's like
people
banners,
saw it on
not
Facebook?
explanations.
What?
How many people saw it on Facebook?
Oh, I've seen it on Facebook because I have like 3 friends in
Four
it.
people.
So every time they do anything with the conference, like their profile pictures change and their banners change, and then I don't know who's actually saying anything because it's all the same.
Okay. So you heard them from friends, Facebook. Is any?
I feel like I've seen posters on
Yeah,
campus.
I just see all the posters and people.
Okay. So how many people saw poster? 1, 2, 3, 4.
5 people. Alright, and we just have one final question, and it's kind of been wrapped up through this presentation, but would you be interested in volunteering abroad, teaching abroad in English through ASAC, and why or why not? And we should just go why not, the basic thing. I mean, we got a lot of things.
We can go one by one on this.
But the one thing it is, there are paid opportunities. So a financial concern, might not be there because you'll be making it up through the money that you get there. So ultimately you'd be actually making money or breaking even. So you'd be getting the experience along with the resume builder, but also a free trip if not making profit. So we can start with you.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in going to teach or study abroad right now since I'm already doing it, and it would be easier for me to just get it done by myself since I have a European passport, so every country in Europe is open to me.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't really have any interest right now just because I'd rather focus on my degree now and just get that done, and then I can travel later in my life.
I I'd like to do it, but I don't know when I would before I graduate, and I would actually want someone to explain to me beforehand what I was going to go and do.
I don't. I'm trying to fly through college and get out as soon as possible. Usually that's like a pretty big delay in credits and your actual program.
So timing
Time
is.
off.
yeah.
Unless you're like a Spanish major or something, you have to.
I'd say it's a nice thought, but not something I would pursue.
I have no interest because I don't want to do it because, yeah, the timing, I don't know, then I would be pushing back, and that's be 5 years already. And then also, yeah, I just never had interest in studying abroad. I still don't.
Oh, I've got no interest either. My major's gonna take a long enough time as it is, so I'm gonna finish it up and get out of here.
I guess I would have interest if it was like during the summer or if I could find something after I graduate.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I'm kind of on a very stuck path right now, and so if I could find something like right after graduation or in the summer where it's not going to mess that up, because I really can't afford to change my coursework right now.
Same with me right now. It's not a priority of mine to go abroad and teach or anything. So.
Yeah, I'm already gonna be here longer than I intended, so that is a big kind of detour, and so it's nice to think about, especially if you get paid and everything, but just mostly the timing.
All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for coming. Do we have any more questions here?
Great question. From what I heard, you guys don't want to go study abroad or internship abroad right now because college, right? But what happens if you guys graduate, like right after your graduation?
Oh, yeah.
Is there any possibility that you guys want to study abroad and go study abroad through ISEC?
You'd be getting the experience along with, money, basically a free trip experience. The only thing you'd be delaying is, 1 year of your work that you wouldn't be doing.
Yeah, that situation I would definitely do because I plan on not teaching like in the US right away because I want to take some time to like build up my Spanish skills because that's ultimately the students I want to teach. So my goal already is to not teach in America right after I graduate anyway. So I would definitely consider getting like a teaching thing outside of the US after I graduate.
Can I see the raise of hand? How many people would love to? 2 people?
3 people.
3?
Like it would have to be related to like my career.
Okay.
My degree, like furthering experience in ops management, which is not one of them. So.
I mean, I know for me, I graduate in December, and it's not like I'm gonna find a teaching job full time halfway through the school year. So.
If you could go to get the experience.
What else?
Yep. All right. Well. Yeah. Kim, do you have anything else for us?
No, not really.
All right, well, you guys, we want to thank you for the time. Hopefully you guys can finish off that pizza if it's not finished off already.
It's gone.
All right, perfect. And yeah, thanks for our time. Obviously, it took a little time out of your day. We went 5 minutes overboard, but no, we appreciate you guys being here, and yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Yep.